What's up, Dragon Brood? Today I want to tell you all about a fun thing I'm doing, and yes, I am sponsored by Ultra Pro, but for the first time ever, I'm actually going to have a double sleeve deck in paper, which is kind of weird because people look like, how have you never double sleeved a deck? It's just weird. I've just not gone through the process, and I've just played my commander deck single sleeve for literally ever. So for the first time, my commander deck's actually going to be sleeved up with Profit sleeves and Pro Mat Eclipse sleeves for my Rith the Awakener deck. So just figured I would share that news. You should probably be double sleeving your cards. It's something I should have been doing a long time ago, and honestly it was just like a laziness thing because I dodged a lot of bullets not getting my cards damaged in all this time. So just passing it along that I'm genuinely doing it, so maybe you should consider doing it. But that being said, that's in paper. Today we're going to be playing some Arena, and we're going to be talking about Selesnya Counters. And I bring this up because the counters deck are always popular. We get one or two different variants that get submitted every time I take decks for Fan Friday, so that's always a thing. So I figured, why not do an updated list? And this actually comes by way of another content creator, Emmaskyeward. If you don't follow her, go give her a look. But this one's actually pretty cool. Sounds like she had some success with it, and there's a couple of little key features that kind of put me in the mood to want to feature it. But before we get to talking about this Selesnya Counters deck, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. If you haven't, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Please consider hitting the like button, and then hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I have a video up. But more importantly, I need you to subscribe so we can get to 10,000 subscribers. We are trying to hit our goal by February 1st, February 1st, as we're calling it around here. But that would be awesome. It's about celebrating my 1 year and seeing if we can get to 10,000 subscribers in my first consistent year of doing content creation. I have no idea if we'll get there, but I can't get there without your help. So please hit that subscribe button. Now, with all that being said and done, let's go take a look at a little bit of a variant on the Selesnya Counters list. Now, what I want to point out here is that there's nothing particularly majorly different about this list than you're going to see from some of the other Selesnya lists. It's more about just what cards were chosen to make this one work. So looking at the top, we are playing 4 Swarm Shamblers, and this is kind of the key one drop to this list, mostly because anything with the counter getting targeted is going to result in you getting another creature, so that's always awesome. And this actually plays 4 Ozolith, and I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of playing 4 of, but you know what? Emma did, and I'm playing her list, so I'm leaving the 4 of them in there, at least for the playthrough. But the reason I'm featuring a list is because I have a lot of people are like, I want to see a deck with an Ozolith. I want to see a deck with an Ozolith. Well, you know what? Here is a deck with an Ozolith, so hopefully this works for everyone. Then we have 2 Feet of Resistance. This is a card that right now, because there's so much spot removal in the format, I could justify, I think, putting 3, maybe even 4 of these, but for sure at least 3 of these. But there's 2 in here for now, giving something a 1/1 and giving it protection from a color. Very good. Then more Luminarch Aspirants, big fan of the card, obviously. Inscription of Abundance, this is fun because it can put counters on your card, but also gives you just a lot of other bonuses. You can gain life or fight something. So it can be a removal card, it can be a pump spell, it can be a life gain thing. And sometimes for 5 mana you get everything. So cool card to have in this list. Obviously Conclave Mentor to give you bonus counters. Invigorating Surge, I'm still a big fan of this card. It's for 3 mana, you can save a card by doubling its counters. You can finish off an opponent, almost doubling or tripling the size of your creature in some cases. Lots of things you can do with this card. Ornrifu's, big fan. It's going to pump your team. Everything in here gets counters, so it's great. PowrDragn Lieutenant is probably the best defensive card. And we talked about this, I believe, on the Golgari counters list recently. That this is one of the main reasons to play white is because you get cards like this and Luminarch Aspirant that result in you being able to pump your team and protect your team effectively. Like every time a creature dies, you're going to be getting another 2/2 creature. Lands I guess we're not quite to the lands yet. We are playing 1 Amir's Call, which doubles as a land, and then 2 Turntimber Symbiosis, which also double as lands. But Turntimber Symbiosis does let you get something with 3 counters on it, so that's kind of sweet. Playing 4 Stonecoil Serpents because, well, it's all counters. Why not play it? And Stonecoil is actually very good against rogues. It can block the Soaring Thought Thief. It has protection from Drown in the Lock if they try to target it. So lots of good stuff going on there. Primal Might, the other actual removal of choice in this list. Then our lands are 5 plains, 6 forests, 4 branch off pathways, 1 crawling barrens, and 3 fabled passage. So not a ton of land in this list, even if you include the turn timber and the Mayor's Call here. But you don't really have anything expensive. Everything's really cheap. You've got 6 things that cost 3, 1 thing that costs, or 4 things that cost 4, and that is it. So it should be fine. Let's go hop into the arena, see how this plays out. This is tough because we're gonna have to use this fabled passage to really do anything. By the way, let's start by giving some appreciation to my opponent with the name of Bathtub Jin. That is brilliant. I don't care who you are. That is awesome. Like that is just cool. So good on them. Like I like creative names. I am totally on board with some Bathtub Jin. I like it. Not necessarily saying I'm a big consumer. I wouldn't recommend it. I've heard some stories about how bad that could be, but as far as a name, that's hard to beat. That's definitely one of the better arena names I've seen in a while. It's been a long while since I've seen one better than that. All right, so we do get this Swarm Shambler down. We got an Ozolith down. So if the Swarm Shambler dies, the next thing coming in during the attack step will get a +1/+1. They're just going with the Maze Mine Tome. So now we do have some decisions to make here. I feel like I want to go ahead and just play... No. This is actually tough. And I know this is terrible. It's just turn 2, but I didn't draw land, so I'm sort of thinking about what we're going to do on the coming turns. I feel like 3 mana for a Stonecoil Serpent is sort of better. However, then on the opponent's following turn, maybe they have Extinction Event, which makes it worse, because then I'd have a 0 and a 2. It's like there's a lot of things I'm questioning here, but I'm going to go with Luminarch Aspirant. And I'm just going to put a counter on the Aspirant itself. Partly so I have 2 things that have counters, so if they choose to kill either one, I'll get a 1/1 token. Also, if they kill the Aspirant, because the Aspirant likely has the bigger target on its back, it will result in a counter going on to Ozolith. Then maybe I follow up with something like Conclave Mentor. It doubles up the counters. So I don't know. We're going to see. I'm trying to do some long-term planning here. I guess I could have played the Turn Timber Symbiosis. I guess I should have done that. That would have been smart. I was looking at it as a spell. Too busy talking to y'all and just missed an opportunity. Look at that. So lazy of me. That actually would have changed my turns pretty significantly, believe it or not. Alright, so we're just put the counter here on the Swarm Shambler. And then we're going to attack with both. See what the opponent wants to do. Looks like nothing is the answer. I don't mind that. Alright, so here's the thing that happens. We can play what I should have done last turn, which I'm paying the price for that now, as I should. Let's play 3 life. Let's go ahead and just try to cast this. It'll probably get countered. It only doesn't get countered if they have Extinction Event, right? Pretty sure that's the case. Alright, so it does. No big worry there. Opponent also opted to not scry with their Maze Mine Tome. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. So yeah, they can Extinction Event one of these. Otherwise, it's target something, give us a 1/1, and put some counters over on the Ozolith. And I don't really hate either of those things happening. Let's do this. Let's see what the opponent's got for this. Because again, you have an Extinction Event, I'll lose 2 things. I'm putting the extra counters on the Swarm Shambler here anyway. Actually, ooh, that's actually bad. Believe it or not. Because then they could spot kill a Swarm Shambler. Okay, that ended up not being so bad. Because here's what I was talking about. Like, if I had put it on the Swarm Shambler and, like, killed it, then I have a token plus a bunch of 2 mana things, which are all even. So then I would lose my whole board to an Extinction Event. So it actually wouldn't necessarily have behooved me to do that. But things have changed. So now I'm debating what to do with this Inscription of Abundance. But we're just going to attack. Put the opponent down to 8. We do have the ability to pump one of these and fight the Murderous Rider, which would move the opponent up to 10, would turn one of these into a 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'd still be too short of being able to kill the opponent. If they went that route. I don't know. They might do something else this turn. Yeah, neither of these is great at this point for the opponent, because the counters will now move to the Ozolith. The Luminarch Aspirant, or, yeah, Swarm Shambler is going to produce at least another 1/1. So let's see what the opponent decides to do here. This is a pretty key turn. Okay, so they did decide to Extinction Event. Let's see what they call. Even. Alright. Not the worst thing. So that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. So the only thing really here would be if we drew a Conclave Mentor, because then that would make that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'd be actually lethal. Let's see if we can draw a Mentor. This is what we're in the game for here. Let's draw a Conclave Mentor. We failed. Quite horribly. So that's not going to do what we want to do at all. Yeah. Let's do the thing. Alright, we'll put the counters on it. Opponent has nothing. We'll put them down to half their life at 4. I would assume the opponent wants to scry here. Because they scry and then scry again. They'll be at 8 life, no matter what happens. Technically, they'll be at 10, because I'm going to fight a Murderous Rider if they play it. Alright, they're putting stuff on the bottom, so that's at least a positive sign. Alright, Omen of the Sea, we do not fear. Alright, they top 1, bottom 1, and draw. Play the Murderous Rider. Alright, unfortunately, they will end up going to 10, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. But we're going to get all 3 points of value. Target creature gets 2 counters. We're going to target a player, us, to gain life. Target a creature I control to fight a creature I don't control. Alright, so we're at 6. Opponent goes to 6. They have 4 more coming from that Maze Mine Tome, unfortunately. Let's see what we got. That does not help the cause. The only positive here is that if they kill a Swarm Shambler, it does make a 1/1 that will be getting 6 tokens here. Or 6 counters. And we can, if we were to draw a land, create a weird bit of pressure that the opponent has leave mana both to kill a Shambler, or Extinction Events. That's a whole different problem. That sucks. Oh, this is kind of where I need a Questing Beast, huh? Yeah, that's not going to do it. Could be in trouble here with the opponent at 4 life. Let's see what happens. Alright, Ashiok, cool. Alright, well, we need a land big time here. Sure. We'll just discard that. That's actually not going to be as important to us at this stage. Alright, this is our one opportunity to get this through. Hopefully they don't have 2 removal cards. If they do, this is just going to hurt a lot. If we get lucky if they slow down and try to get us during our attack step, because we do have Feat of Resistance. Let's just see how this plays out. Our singular Amarius Call could be what's helping us get there. Okay, Cling to Dust, they draw a card. They opted not to gain life, so they're definitely hunting for an answer here. Though with only having 4 mana available, that's going to limit their options. Yep, that'll get there. Okay, and we are playing against the Obasher. Alright. hoping to draw another land here. But if we don't, so be it. We'll just be playing some 1/1 Stonecoil Serpents. Not what we're really in the market for, but, you know, sometimes you just do what you gotta do. Alright, just one, because that's all we can do. Not gonna trade our Shambler for that. Our Shambler's worth more. I'm probably gonna stomp something. Nope, no stomps. Alright. So this is definitely gonna be a bit of a problem soon. Alright, so what can we do here? We have to draw lands, or like this draw is just dead. Because we assume they're gonna play a Lovestruck Beast. We can play Oran Reef and pump one of these. We would still need even a Bosworth Lieutenant to even make something big enough that we can come through to even threaten the Lovestruck Beast, and then maybe hit something with a Primal Might on top of it, which isn't real awesome, but it's kind of just what we've got. Alright, we're going to go get White Land. But, you know, this is sort of what you end up dealing with when you don't have a lot of mana in your list. Okay, so, question here is, do we just make a 3/3? And then see about making a 4/4, 5/5, and then just going toe-to-toe with one of those? I don't know, that seems kind of bad. I mean, make a 3/3. If I get another one, I could turn that into a 5/5 and trade. This is such a tough choice. It feels more difficult than it needs to be. I'm going to go with this. I'm just going to pump itself. It just seems the most efficient. If the opponent happens to play a Lovestruck Beast, we can, like, Primal Might. Potentially. Okay, so I guess they didn't get the other land. Alright, so we lucked out. Plan kind of sort of worked. Now it comes down to what do we attack with? Definitely attacking with Oran Refus. Attack with Stonecoil Serpents. I mean, if we just attack with everything, they all become 2/2s. And the opponent would have to trade at least 2 of the 1/1s. So yeah, I'm game for this. There's very little reason to do otherwise here. Only other play would have been Primal Might, like the Oran Refus, to kill a token and attack, and like, but that's kind of a waste of Primal Might when we know we're gonna have to take down one of these 3 Lovestruck Beasts. And now the Oran Refus alone is sized up to be able to fight that fight, which is very important. So yeah, I knew that was coming, but we're not really worried about it. That's not really what our plan is now. Now we're just making sizable enough creatures that we can just keep moving forward. So now, even if they play a Lovestruck Beast, we'd be able... Okay, well, that does change things a little bit. I was going to be able to pump things. Oh, well, you're late. I would have liked to have left you up, but that's okay. Now we're big enough that a Lovestruck Beast really isn't going to matter here. Yeah, we can protect our creature with the feeder resistance. We've got... Yeah, Primal Might, game's just over. Yep. Not a lot to talk about there. Opponent got stuck. We got stuck, but we were able to punish them with a better draw. Yeah. And then we'll attack. That's all she wrote. Yes, we will keep this. Alright. Shambler. This hand's actually not bad. I actually kind of dig this. Well, I kind of wanted you to not have a thing there, opponent. That's really what I was aiming for, if I'm being 100% honest. Alright. We're going with this, knowing that we're probably going to have to punch through some Owl Seeds, maybe use an Inscription next turn. There's going to be a couple of things going on. Alright, Daxos. You are a thing. Oh boy, what are we doing here? I think... Yeah, I was just sort of debating if I wanted to do this for 1 or 2. I mean, 1 lets us fight Daxos, and we can choose not to attack if we don't want to trade for that Owl Seed, and it would leave us mana to pump our Swarm Shambler, but I don't think that's what we're looking for here. I'm just going to go ahead and keep the opponent's creatures at bay as best we can. And if they gain some life, whatever, so be it. Like, we'll deal with the situation. Alright. Depending on what happens here... Okay, there's a Lurrus. Well, that's unfortunate. We may actually have to fight that dude. Because what else are we going to do? Opponent's going to spend at least 2 mana. Problem is, if we're going to fight Lurrus, we kind of just have to do it now. That's pretty unfortunate. I can attack. See if we could bait the opponent into blocking. I don't think they will. But I don't know, they might. Let's see what happens here. I would assume they wouldn't, because I wouldn't if I was the opponent. I mean, they could get me by, like, blocking with the Owl Seed on the Shambler. Okay, they didn't take any of the bait. Alright. Well, that's a thing. The problem here is if we don't go after Lurrus now, then they're going to untap, play the Daxos, be able to sack this to protect Lurrus. They're also going to gain a life. Yeah, we kind of have to give up the Stonecoil here, I think. This kind of is unfortunate. Don't love it. I'm not going to lie. I do not love that. I mean, it is protection for multicolor. I did forget about that part. But let's see what happens here. Because I don't know where the opponent's hand's going at all. Ooh. That's not what we want to see. That's the opposite of good. Well, okay then. That's definitely going to be a problem for this list. Alright. Let's see what we can do. I mean, we can pump a Swarm Shambler. I mean, not a lot happening here. Here's a Heliod, alright. Good news is... Oh, no! Why did you have to have a Selfless Savior? Dang it. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, now we're going to be hurting a bit. Because we're going to have to find a way to get past an opponent having a Selfless Savior alongside Heliod. Yeah, this is... Don't know how we recover from this one. I think we're in bad shape. That doesn't really do much for us here. I'm trying to think, like, what's the best thing that happens? Like, we pump a Basri's Lieutenant and attack with everything? Like, I don't know here. Yeah, I don't even know where I want to put this counter. I mean, yeah, we just put it on the Lieutenant, I guess. Just have the biggest blocker. See if we can buy a turn. But the problem is now they have 2 things to protect stuff. They can attack with just Heliod, which we don't really have a good block for. Even if I were to draw it, I'm still 2 mana away from making Angels. I could fly over. I think this is one where we're just going to have to give it up. I think we're just going to get beat on this one. Because I'm pretty sure we don't have a real answer here. And even then, we're going to mostly be like trying to force them to use a Selfless Savior so we can eventually hit the Owl Seed. And then the Hollow Priest will be gigantic by then. But that's all we can really do. I mean, I guess we block. I mean, if they pump it, they pump it. I mean, sure. I mean, like, what else are we gonna do? I honestly prefer that being the case. Like, if anything's gonna happen, that's actually the best case scenario for us. Believe it or not. Because it does mean that if we get into a situation that we can block, kill, whatever, we can actually force them to use their cards now because they use each step. Shelter. Unless they have a second one. If they have a second shelter, then none of this matters anyway. Okay, this is kind of like step 1 to the process. Alright, so we can turn Stone Cold Serpent into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 7/7? Force the opponent to use the Selfless Savior. We should be targeting the Owl Seed, but ultimately that just leads to them gaining more life, so we don't want to do that. I'm just trying to think if we gain anything by fighting the Savior. Assume they sack the Savior. I'm not even sure if we do that. We might wait, because there are scenarios where if we were to get another inscription, we could try to fight, they sack, we fight that thing, maybe with like a Basri's Lieutenant. So yeah, I'm just going to pass. I mean, it's weird. It doesn't feel great, you know, I'm not going to lie, but I don't think it's what we were looking for here. Also, we're going to have a 4/4 Shambler. If we block with some things and they die, we'll get some things. Oh, maybe not. Let's see what happens here. Probably going to get rid of that big Basri's Lieutenant, I would think. Would not be a bad choice for them. Okay. I mean, that's reasonable. It was ultimately going to end up being the largest thing they'd have to fight through, so I dig it. Makes a lot of sense. Alright, so the question is, do we want to double block? Yeah, we have to, right? Double block the Owl Seed. They'll kill one of these. The Selfless Savior dies, right? So I'm assuming that's what we're doing here. Alright, we do get a 2/2 to block with. We'll have to spend all of our mana to fight the Owl Seed, because fighting the Hollow Priest doesn't do anything. Alright, Aspirant's cool here. I don't hate that. Right, so we can turn a Lieutenant into a 3 power, 4 power, 5 power. Alright, so let's go. And unfortunately, it's going to make us 7/7 Hollow Priest, but, you know, is what it is. Let's fight this. That's only a 5/5, so that should be good. Alright, they will put a counter back on Hollow Priest. We did turn Heliod back into a non-dude. Just a god is no longer walking. I'm sitting here on this turn Timber Symbiosis hoping for something good to happen one day. Alright, so if the opponent puts no more counters on how... we were just through that. We were just through that. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this sucks. My plan was going to be we could throw this whole team of things over in front of that Hollow Priest, but that's no longer an option. So now we got to find another thing to get rid of an Alseed. Then set up to be able to block a Hallowed Priest. This is not going to be going well for us, to say the least. Alright, we're just going to take 5. Alright. You'll gain some life, that's all good. I'm not too worried about the life gain because, like, I feel like if we ever get to a point that we're able to battle back, the life is only going to be kind of a... I wouldn't say inconsequential thing, but not largely consequential. Okay, this is kind of interesting. What can we do with this? Alright, so if we put a counter on the Stone Coil Serpent, the Stone Coil Serpent will become a 4. Putting a counter on it makes it a 5. It doubles the counter, makes it 10. So unfortunately, that would not kill the Hollow Blade. I mean, kill the Hollowed Priest. We are going to end up chump blocking. Oh, no, 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 no. That's the wrong choice. At least if I would have turned the Bozer's Lieutenant into a 5/6, I'd be able to block Heliod. That's definitely a wrong choice. Wrong choice indeed. Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. Ugh, that sucks. That actually is probably the difference in the game, I think. Because now I have to chump block with the Aspirant to not die here. Yep, that's gonna do it. Cool. Ah. Okay, yeah, we'll keep this. Man, I'm glad our first opponent of the day's name was cool, because we've been getting some weird ones here. I don't know what this is. That's like somebody's safe deposit box code or something. Alright. Aspirant in, Aspirant gets a counter. So now if they want to start killing things... Well, they might just be playing Rogues, truthfully. I don't love playing the Ornery Foos here, but the possibility that we could Aspirant on back-to-back turns, it's kind of hard to ignore. Or a double Aspirant next turn, I should say. And if they're just going to go Rogue into the air here, we don't care. Because our creatures are much bigger than his, and we're not... At this point, we're not worried about being decked as much as we're just trying to win the damage race. I do want to draw a land here, though, so we can play an Aspirant, assume it gets countered, play the second Aspirant. It's kind of what we're aiming for. Fantastic. So we'll go the first one. Let it get drowned in the locked. It did not. Alright, well, I'm going to go with the second one. First one's nice, the second one's twice as nice, right? Oh, they had a disruption. So sad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spread the love just in case they find some counters somewhere. Yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of damage for the opponent. Yeah, I'm not sure they have great plays here. Yeah, you do get to mill some things. When your boy attacks, you're going to have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in the yard. Still not quite enough there. Though, even if it does block and kill, and we don't care greatly, at this point, we might just be hoping for one to get through. With this Invigorating Surge. Ooh, that's so nice. Do we play it? What do we do? I think we do. Because you would have to counter and kill something here. Alright, we'll put one set of counters there. We'll put another one. Yeah, whatever. Kill an Aspirant. Those counters will go to the Ozolith. We move to the next attack step. We'll put them on the Conclave Mentor. I mean, you kill a thing, you will get Death Touch. You will get to kill 2 things here, opponent. Oh no, just Brazen Borrower. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, then you're still dead, right? Oh, unless they have another Thieves Guild Enforcer. Because Brazen Bar doesn't block anything. So you need another Enforcer here. And even then, they're doing that to lose 2 things and just take 6. Yeah, that's game. There were a couple of odd little draws in there, but for the most part, it played pretty well. It did what I expected to against Rogue, so that was good. A couple of control matchups are a little tight, and you don't have a lot of defensive cards. I would probably like to see at least 1 or 2 copies of something removed to play an additional, either like Banishing Light, or play more of the Feat of Resistance. Just to be able to protect creatures longer, punch through those key turns, giving something protection from a color, whatever the blocker is. You know, there's a few things there. But otherwise, I really like it. It obviously is a powerful deck, plays very well. Still not sure that 4 Ozolith is the way to go. We did have a couple of games where we got it, and it was kind of largely irrelevant. But I guess that's not bad if you're just winning anyway and you just don't need it. But yeah, cool card, cool deck. If you're looking for an excuse to play Ozolith, this is the way to do it. If you're looking to an excuse to play counters, this is a good list, so go for it. Thumbs up, Emma. And now, we're going to talk about our card spotlight of the day, which is Sarkhan's Unsealing. This card isn't all that old, it's just a couple of years old, but I think it's a card that goes under the radar a lot. When you're looking for extra removal in a deck that's just playing big creatures, this is awesome. And the biggest thing about Sarkhan's Unsealing is it's not an enter the battlefield trigger, it's a cast trigger. So once your Sarkhan's Unsealing's on the table, it's pretty hard to stop the damage without a very small list of cards. And then, in the event you play something really big, you know, whether that's, I don't know, a Carnage Tyrant or something, you're going to get to deal 4 to all your opponent's things and to each Planeswalker. And to each opponent. So you get to do a lot of damage. The other thing too, consider that it is each opponent and each creature, which is very cool. Otherwise, you just get to pick a target whenever it comes into play, if I remember correctly. But yeah, cool card. It's pretty cheap to play. You can squeeze it into most lists. And just give it a look. If you're playing some sizable creatures, like I said, it's one of those things that kind of gets forgotten, I think, when people go deck building. But remember, if you haven't, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Then hit that notification bell. Remember, we are trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by February 1st. But I need your help. I need your help. We still have a little under 1,500 to go, and we've got a little over 6 weeks. So please help us get there. Also remember, if you would like the deck list from today's deck, you want to follow us over on Twitch or Twitter or Discord, or visit our sponsors, or buy some merchandise. All those links are in the description below. Also in the description, you can find links to TCGPlayer and Amazon, so if you're buying on either of those, if you click any of the links in the description, we'll get a small kickback if you do any shopping on those sites within 24 hours of clicking those links. And that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.